Hi everyone. I wanted to talk to you today about one of my latest obsessions, a band called Japan. I've been listening to them like crazy for the past couple of weeks, a few months now, and today I want to share that experience with you. Japan is a band that you probably have never heard of because they have about 200,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is criminally low. And they also have an awkward name because whenever I'm talking about Japan, people think I'm referring to the country. So just if you ever have a conversation with me, just know when I'm talking about Japan, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be the band Japan. It's also an awkward name to have to Google because every time I'm looking up something from Japan, I have to put Japan and then like in brackets behind it band. So unfortunately, they didn't have the foresight to choose a name that had a bit better SEO. Anyway, I have two records by them. I'm looking for more, but they're crazily expensive or just rare. But I haven't been looking for them very long, I should say, because I found I have two by them: Gentlemen Take Polaroids and Quiet Life, which I will show later. And the other ones I found Adolescent Sex for like €20, and the cheapest I've found Tin Drum at is 15, which is far too expensive in my opinion. Who's gonna pay €20 for an old album? I can on a good day I can find a new record for €20, and I did. I bought Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division for €20. So who's gonna pay €20 for Adolescent Sex? So I'm just holding out on a better deal. I'm sure I'll find that eventually. So I have only got Gentlemen Take Polaroids and Quiet Life to show you today. But I can still talk about the band a little bit for those who don't know. Japan pretty much started out as a glam rock band in similar veins as David Bowie or T-Rex. Bit of a new wave influence in there too. They were definitely slightly more experimental. But they did that in 1978 when the whole glam rock trend was kind of behind them, because that was kind of an early 70s thing. So they were kind of late to that party. And critics and audiences both weren't particularly pleased or fans of this album, which goes to show that, the general public and critics can be very wrong on something, because Adolescent Sex, the album, is amazing. If I ever get it, I will definitely show it on video. Just if you want some good songs from that's Adolescent Sex is a very good song. There's Suburban Love, and I really love Television, the close on the album. Then I'm pretty sure in the same year they released Obscure Alternatives, which is slightly more forgettable in my opinion. There's not as many high points in that album as there are on the others, but still a good album. And then in 1979, at least in the North America, they released Quiet Life, which and in the rest of the world in 1980, which is a new wave synth pop album, and very experimental and very good. So you can compare them to maybe like Ultravox or a bit of Joe Jackson on his first album, or like Gary Newman. They made that type of new wave synth pop music, and they were quite early to that whole scene. They were also kind of forebearers of the new romantic scene, with the heavy makeup that was kind of prominent in the 80s with people like Boy George from Culture Club, or Visage with Steve Strange. So they were rather early to the whole new wave synth-pop movement, and also to the new romantic movement. Then in, I believe, 1980, they released Gentlemen Take Polaroids, which definitely goes into a more experimental direction. Even more so than Quiet Life, actually. They had quite sophisticated pop music, I should say. And then in 81 or 82, they released their final album, Tim Drum, which is even more experimental. And then they released a live album, but, who cares? So the good thing about Japan, or the nice thing they did, is they released 5 incredible albums, some of them genuine masterpieces, and then they just dipped. So it's very easy to kind of get into their discovery, because there isn't a whole lot to discover. There are 5 incredible albums that you can enjoy until the end of time, and that's it. And that's good, Now, today, I'm talking about Quiet Life and Gentlemen Take Polaroids specifically, as I said, because I happen to have those two on vinyl. And I just want to urge people who like that kind of music, who are fans of bands like Ultravox or people like Gary Newman, to definitely give Japan a listen, because their music is just frankly incredible, in my opinion. I'm incredibly biased, but I loved it. As a David Bowie fan, finding Japan was like heaven to me. because they make music that is generally similar, and in some ways maybe better. Which it's kind of hard to compare the two like one on one, but like Japan is really fucking good. Also, if you like David Bowie, I would recommend checking out Japan. It is a band that definitely deserves far more recognition, in my opinion, because they make such incredible music. But I feel like that's the case with a lot of bands from that era. I also think that certain Ultravox songs or Visage deserve more recognition. But I honestly think that Japan is probably the peak of the new wave synthpop music, of that kind of alternative late 70s, early 80s music. Now, Quiet Life, as I said, released in 1979, in the North America at least, starts out with the song Quiet Life, because they were very original like that. And Quiet Life is kind of a reflection on their success, or their lack of success so far. Fun fact, the only place where they were really popular is in Japan, which isn't just because of the name, at least they claim so, and I can kind of understand that, because I don't think it works the other way around, that a Japanese band called Bristol is going to be very popular in the UK or whatever. I think it can be more attributed to Japanese people having a very good taste in music, or at least I think so, because that's the only place that were ever really somewhat popular. So as I said, they just didn't have much success in the West. They toured in their adolescent sex days, I think, as a supporting act for the Blue Oyster Cult. I should say this, I'm a very big fan of the Blue Oyster Cult. They have some incredible songs. But, I kind of associate the Blue Oyster Cult with, like, middle-aged dads who have pickup trucks, who beat their wife, who drink Bud Lights. That's the kind of listener I imagine to listen to Blue Oyster Cult, especially nowadays, but I don't know what it was like back then. And Japan is their femboys. David Sylvian is like the world's first femboy, pretty much. So, and they make a bit more different and experimental music. So it wasn't a great combination, maybe. So on stage they did not get a very warm reception. Which is a shame, because, a lot of geniuses weren't understood in that time, and I would definitely put Japan in the brackets of geniuses. This is also, again, coming from someone who really loves the Blue Oyster Cult. So Quiet Life is kind of a reflection on their career up until that point, I think. They had it rough in the US. I think they lost their record contract. They didn't have any commercial success, or very little commercial success, in the UK, in their home country. I feel like this is just kind of them announcing they're going in a different direction and, trying something new. Quiet Life is probably the song itself is probably one of their most poppy, I guess. It's one of the songs that you can safely put on at family gatherings without your family shunning you for the rest of eternity. It's definitely one of their least crazy songs, so to say. I also especially like the opening to it. It's generally a very good album opener, and the opening of the song itself is also very cool. I like the build up until the song itself actually begins. This is also David Sylvian, the singer of the band, also sings in a bit more of a different vocal style than on the first two albums, Adolescent Sex and Obscure Alternatives. And this is definitely the voice of him that people recognize the most, probably. And for me, David Sylvian has a very comforting voice in a way, because it's kind of like David Bowie. Whenever you listen to someone a lot, you start to hear them even in your dreams, for me at least. And listening to David Sylvian's voice is very comforting in a way, actually, because I think he isn't a perfect singer, like, for example, Freddie Mercury, but I feel like the imperfections in someone's voice, the character of someone's voice is far more appealing to me, and he's has a pleasing voice, so to say. It definitely comforts me, and listening to this music always makes me feel good, And the first time that we hear this vocal approach is on the song Quiet Life. The next song is Fall in Love with Me, which has a very cool repeating guitar part, which it kind of reminds me of Rebel Rebel in that way, in that it is kind of structured around this repeating sort of guitar bits. It's also a very good song, and also something that you can definitely put on at family gatherings, because it's definitely more of a approachable song, so to say. The next song, however, is far from approachable by most people. It is Despair, which is a very cool song. It's very sort of minimalistic and has very cool saxophone on it. But this is not something you put on when there's a woman you want to woo, so to say, unless you want to impress her with your very cool and alternative music taste. It is, as I said, it's just more minimalistic. It's more quiet, but it's a bit moody. But it's a very good song, actually. But it's such a big contrast from the first two songs, Quiet Life and Fall in Love with Me. Such a different different style. And the next song after that, Invoke, is just a good song. It's nothing crazy. Also, I completely forgot. I love the Ebo solo guitar solo in A Quiet Life. It's a very cool solo. It's a bit of a strange solo, actually. It's the same thing that Robert Fripp used for Heroes by David Bowie. To kind of hold onto those notes. It's a very cool solo, but it works very well. Invoke is, as I said, it's just a nice song. I like it, actually. It's a somewhat simple song, but it sounds very cool, and I especially like the last couple of minutes of the song where it's just instrumental. It's a very cool song. The song after that, the first song on side 2, is Halloween, which has some very cool guitar parts, actually. And I love the vocals on that one, actually. Especially so far on these songs, the drumming has been just simply fantastic. Also, incredible bass playing, and as I said, I like the guitar work and I love the vocals. Now, the song after Halloween is All Tomorrow's Parties, which is a cover of a Velvet Underground song. And it's kind of a David Bowie thing to release an album full of original work and then have one token cover on it, like, he did It Ain't Easy or Let's Spend the Night Together. This is Japan's token cover. It's All Tomorrow's Parties. And, it's a good enough cover. I don't know what the original sounds like, but this one is nice. Doesn't stand out the way that It Ain't Easy does, and It Ain't Easy for me stands out in a very bad way on Ziggy Stardust, because I don't like that song very much. All Tomorrow's Parties, it fits well with the other songs. It's in the same kind of style. Now, Alien. I really love Alien. It sounds alien. It's funny to say, but it sounds really alien. It's a bit of a weirder song, but it also has some incredibly catchy moments. It can be very moody and a bit slower, and it can also just be incredibly catchy with some great saxophone work. The saxophone is provided by Mick Kahn, who also plays the fretless bass on this album. I don't know how he's so talented, because he's literally one of the best bass players ever, and he also has some incredible saxophone work on Japan songs, so good on him. The last song on the album is The Other Side of Life, and I have to say, this is such a beautiful, beautiful song. The Other Side of Life is just wonderful. It is one of the better album closes I've ever heard. It is great. Honestly, it is a longer song. It's 7 minutes, but there's a very simple guitar part that keeps repeating, which is very cool. It has some beautiful saxophone work. It has stunning vocals, and I really love the addition of a little bit of a string orchestra, string instruments on this song. It feels big. It feels grand. This song. It feels like the perfect album closer. So all in all, Quiet Life, it's very good. I think this is just a straight-up masterpiece, in my opinion. I would go that far, actually. It is wonderful. So, all in all, check out Quiet Life, the song or the album, either one. They're both very good. The next album they released in, I think, 1980, I just checked, it is 1980, is Gentlemen Take Polaroids. The title track, Gentlemen Take Polaroids, is also the first song on the album. And it is such a good song. This is definitely more in an experimental direction, a bit more of an... on Wikipedia it says it's avant pop. So, I hope that gives an impression of the type of music. It's a bit more... I guess you could call it pretentious if you're not into this type of music. But I happen to be into this type of music, so I really love this. Or at least I discovered I'm into this type of music. And Gentlemen Take Polaroids is their first. I think it's just a Euro pop disco whatever song, Euro pop, which is interesting. And the last 2 minutes of the song are just absolutely beautiful with some wonderful vocals, and it's very cool and well done. Swing is just incredibly catchy. This is the second song on the album. It has some wonderful bass parts on it. So far, two very good songs that I would definitely recommend you check out: Gentlemen Take Polaroids and Swing. I know they performed Swing live, actually, on television at least, and I'm not sure if they did Gentlemen Take Polaroids on television. I know they did Swing, and I think My New Career, which you can find on YouTube. It's very good live, actually. The next song is interesting because it is a misprint on the final record I have. It's Some Kind of Fool, which, if you don't know, this isn't Some Kind of Fool. I bought this album because when I started listening to them, I found out that one of their songs was used in Skibbity Toilet. I'm not kidding. A song of Burning Bridges by them was used in Skibbity Toilet as the theme of TV Man. I have no idea. I don't know Skibbity Toilet lore. I don't have that much brain rot. But apparently that song was used for that character, which I have to commend the creator of Skibbity Toilet for that, because that is a very good choice. It definitely shows good music taste for him. So this song is labeled as Some Kind of Fool, but it's actually Burning Bridges, the Skibbity Toilet song. I think it's a last minute replacement. So when I bought this record, I was really worried because I liked Burning Bridges. I knew it was on the album. And when I came home when I bought this record and I saw, oh, this isn't Burning Bridges. So I was thinking, oh, maybe they switched it up or something. I was really worried, and then I listened to it, and it's Burning Bridges. Imagine my surprise when I heard it was Burning Bridges anyway. I was very happy, because I kind of gave that song a new appreciation when I heard it was used in Skibbity Toilet, funnily enough. And now I just think it is such a cool song. It is very minimal, again, with later some vocals and some saxophone, but it kind of sounds horror-esque. It's very cool. Definitely has much more of an impact on me now that I know that it was used in Skibbity Toilet. And the last song on the album is My New Career, which is just a bop. It's just a good song. I actually specifically really like My New Career. I love the vocals on it and like the keyboard work. It's just wonderful. Now those are the first 4 songs on the first side of the album. The second side of the album starts with Methods of Dance, which has some very cool saxophone work on it again. And it's just, I don't know, I have trouble describing these songs. They're just cool. I love the direction they went in with this album. Some of the songs are on the longer sides, like around 7 minutes, but they all sound so unique, and they have such cool, interesting keyboards and saxophone and bass parts. And I love the vocals, and the lyrics are mysterious. It's such great music that I think it's a shame that isn't listened to more. So Methods of Dance, first song on side 2, very good. The next one after that is Ain't That Peculiar, which is a cover song. And I quite like this cover, actually. I think this is a very good cover. It fits well with the rest of the album. Again, I don't know what the original sounds like, but I really like this version of Ain't That Peculiar. The song after that, now this is a big one, it's Night Porter, which is, I think, nowadays their most recognizable song, I should say very safely. At least I think it's one of their more iconic ones. Night Porter is just beautiful. It is about 6 or 7 minutes of just beautiful piano. I love the piano on this, so wonderful. There's some oboe, which is like a woodwind instrument. And most of the song is very quiet. It's just the piano and an oboe, and then it starts to build up, and by the end it sounds like this. It's kind of like a waltz, actually, I think, in regards to its time signature and just how it feels. It's so beautiful. It sounds like there's an entire string orchestra, which I'm pretty sure it's just keyboards. The song sounds so big and beautiful. It sounds like something that should be played at like a medieval ball or whatever. You know, this is the type of music that I imagine that fucking Palace in Versailles would fit very well with. This is such a beautiful song. How can this song only have like 6 million plays on Spotify? This is genuinely one of the most beautiful songs in human history. I am incredibly biased, I should say that, but I just love this song so much. It is so beautiful. The piano is wonderful, and by the end, it builds up, and it's so wonderful. So just check out Night Porter, please, for me. The final song is Taking Islands in Africa, which I think is a collaboration with the guy from Yellow Magic Orchestra. I don't know his name, but I think he's like one of the pioneers of also synth pop, or like electronic instruments in music. So that's pretty cool. It's a good song, like any other song on this album. It sounds a bit quirky in a way, but I like it as an album close. It's definitely a very quirky song if you just listen to Night Porter on the album, but it's a good one. So far I would definitely recommend you check out Quiet Life from the first album I mentioned, maybe Halloween and Alien, and from this album, Gentlemen Take Polaroids is wonderful, Swing is wonderful, My New Career, and Night Porter is just, I think, one of their best songs. One of the best songs ever, maybe. Now I would just like to quickly show you these albums before I end this video off. I hope you enjoyed me yapping about them. I think these are beautiful covers, and I just wanted to show them to you. This is Quiet Life, which it's just a stunning cover in my opinion. It kind of reminds me of Aladdin Sane in a way, because just of the crisp white, and then just the image of David Sylvian on the cover, the world's first femboy. And this is just a beautiful cover in my opinion. The backside is, I think that's Mick Kahn actually, is also very cool. Very simple, it's just a picture of them, but it fits the music very well. I think a beautiful cover. Opening it up, because I bought the special edition. These are the other members of the band, with some credits, it seems, and the songs that are on this album. And inside the album, which is quite interesting, is, first of all, this is the record itself, which is red. Yes, it's a red record, which is very cool. This also just shows you the songs which are on the album. And these are the band members: David Sylvian, Mick Kahn, Rob Dean, Richard Barbieri, and Steve Jensen, which is very cool. Just put that off to the side. And also, this is what I love about Japan. It's a very visually the band is just on point. Looks beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Just like it reminds you of their first album, Adolescent Sex, which also had like an art style like this, very Japanese inspired. It's very simple, minimalistic, but it's just wonderful. It is wonderful. And inside there's this little booklet in here with pictures of members of the band and a lot of information. I think these are quotes from some of the members, for example. Just a lot of information about the rise of Japan, so to say, which is very cool as a nice addition. Here's also more information and also some more credits, who played what, which is cool. For example, David Sylvian did vocals and the occasional guitar, it seems. So all in all, this is a very nice package. I bought this for €10 too much, because I bought it for, I think, 26 or 28, and I saw it later for 18, so I paid way too much for this. But it is honestly worth it a little bit, because this is just a very, very good album. Very nice one to own. It just looks beautiful. The second one is Gentlemen Take Polaroids. Now this is the second album by that I own, at least, from them. This is, I think, chronologically their fourth album from 1980. Gentlemen Take Polaroids, which has a very interesting cover. I think he's under an umbrella in the rain. He has very heavy makeup on this, David Sylvian. It's a very moody cover, actually. It looks very cool. The only thing I don't like is the writing that is here, which I think is a big shame. Usually I can forgive an album for having some user wear on it or writing, but on this one it just clashes too much in my opinion, which is a shame. I bought this for €10, so I probably should have waited until I found one which was the same price but didn't have writing on it. But the benefit of hindsight, I guess. So yeah, it's a very cool cover. It's just under an umbrella in heavy rain with some edited in thunder, but it looks cool in a quirky way. I also like his makeup. I think that looks very cool. The backside of the album is just some pictures and just the songs that were on this. This didn't come with like any extras. It's just the record itself. So this is just a cool cover and combined with this one. These are very cool to display. I do wish I had their other albums on vinyl. I'm still gonna look for them. Adolescent Sex, Obscure Alternatives, and Tin Drum. Maybe even, I think it's Oil on Canvas, which is their last album, which is a live album. If I ever come across that and it isn't too expensive, I will definitely buy it. So these are the records I own by them. Very cool stylistic covers. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to share today on the band Japan. I would definitely urge you to give them a listen. They make some wonderful music. I hope you enjoyed me yapping about this band. And if I ever find the other albums by them, I think I will make a video on them, at least if I have the entire discovery, so to say, all their studio albums. I think I would definitely make a video on that, showing that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed me talking about the band Japan, and please give them a listen. I think they have some absolutely amazing music. Very underrated. People use the word underrated too much. I do that too. But this is one of the cases where I think something is genuinely underrated. Because like later on they got more critical acclaim, but still they never had the commercial success or even the people looking at them in hindsight who appreciate them enough. So I think they are definitely underrated in a way. So yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.